Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at the Klarus Flat Tac X1e. First of all, thank you to Klarus for sending this along for review. They did provide this review sample, however they did not provide any financial compensation, nor did they have any input into the review process, the review outcome, or any early access to the review video. That said, let's go ahead and jump on into a size comparison. First with channel staples at 91 and 58mm. So Simon knife. Give you the thickness there, and some more torch or flashlight relevant comparisons. We have a AAA and a AA, and we'll give you that rectangular girth comparison, and an 18650. This of course is not using a conventional battery, it's using a fixed cell. And just to give you guys a kind of an idea flashlight wise of what this guy's like, we have some other flat style lights for comparison. Is the Workhorse HD10 and the Trustfire Mini X3. You can see that this is by pretty much any standard of measure really for an EDC style flashlight. This is a long boy, however it is also very thin and slim. Now into the design overview. This is an aluminium body, and we have some very minor texturing on the sides for grip, as well as this kind of bend. Along this branding, we do also have an OLED screen for displaying the modes and brightness, as well as how much battery is left. Up top, we have a double switch UI. This is going to be more relevant later in the UI section, as this is heavily a tactical orientated light. And we have a deep carry style clip, however it is placed low enough down that you do have a considerable amount sticking out of your pocket. Charging wise, we have a USB-C connector underneath a rubber boot. And up front we have our dual emitters with a proximity sensor, as well as some, I believe, ceramic balls for impact to break windows and whatnot. And with that, let's go ahead and get into the runtimes and brightness for the Klarus X1e. One quick note, these does come in another version that you may see. This is the X1e, which is just this as you see it. There is another version, the model escapes me, but it basically has a ring that you can put your finger through with an additional glass breaking tip on it. That is slightly more, I think. It's just an alternate version. Unfortunately, it's not an accessory that you can just put on and take off. With that, let's go ahead and jump into the runtimes and brightness. As always, feel free to pause if you'd rather read through yourself. This has a moonlight mode of 15 lumens for 48 hours, a low mode of 65 lumens for 15, a medium of 200 lumens at 6 hours, a medium high of 1200 lumens for 5.6 hours, and a high of 2200 for 5 hours, and a turbo of 4200 lumens for 15 seconds. Now obviously the high and the medium high are going to have step downs, however that is not included in the listed. The strobe does operate on full 2200 brightness, and the SOS comes in at 300 lumens and the beacon 400, and this does have a IPX6 water resistance rating. Now the UI for this guy, I'll be honest, threw me for quite a loop for quite a while, and they do include a dedicated UI card for a reason. This is kind of tricky because it's orientated towards the tactical mindset rather than the EDC mindset. So whilst this is still usable for everyday carry, the UI mentality is rather different. So we have two switches here, the red smaller and the black larger switch. We'll start with the red one. A single press of this will take you into moonlight mode as displayed on the OLED. And then of course there will be a short showing beam shots of this at night. Now in terms of cycling to the other ones, you're actually going to want to be using this black button. This is going to be a double press, and it's going to come on at level 1, which is 2200 lumens. And then a press will take you down to 1200, another press 200, and finally level 4, 65 lumens. And then when it cycles back to the top, press and hold to turn off. To get to turbo, you're just going to double hit the red button basically, and that gives you not only turbo, but you actually get a visual countdown until it steps down. And I'll show you what that is like. 15 seconds didn't seem that long when I thought about doing this. There you go. And then we step down from turbo to about 200 lumens. And in that short run, the light did build up some heat, but it's not particularly bad so far, and you can just go straight back into another one, although it does give you a decreased time. This does have thermal protection, and it will shut down to protect itself and you. Now, in order to get to all of the fun modes, I guess, you're going to be using the red switch, which is red for a reason. Now, this is going to be a strobe warning, so if you're sensitive to that, please skip ahead or look away. This red button, which will get you moonlight or double click to turbo, if you press and hold either from off or on, it will go into strobe. And if you let go within 3 seconds, it will go back to either what you were doing before. But if you hold it, it will give you a constant strobe over 3 seconds. And then just press to turn off again. In order to lock out, it's just going to be, as we see here, just a triple click. And you can triple click either button. When locked out, you get the padlock on the OLED. And you'll just have to triple click to get back out of it. With that said, let's go ahead and jump into some of the pros, cons, and my final thoughts and overall thoughts on the X1e. First of all, this is cool, right? It looks cool. The quality of the anodization and the flat design means that it feels good to carry. It's cool. There's no shame in admitting that you like a product because it's cool. It also carries very well. This is very long. I will say that, this is not going to be suitable to carry in every pocket or every pouch or what have you. It's an extremely long flashlight. However, it is fairly light considering its overall size, and it does carry nice and flat against the body. I did find carrying this was quite a joy, and it is very satisfying to use the dual switch operation. The OLED gives you a lot more easily accessible information than something like, a ring of lights around the button or a colored button, or having to press a button a certain amount of times to do a battery check. An OLED screen gives you a much more easily accessible wealth of information. It's great to see. It's my first time having a torch with an OLED in it, and I do enjoy it quite a bit. As far as brightness goes, this is more than bright enough to disorientate somebody or to light up a large area in a short amount of time, and the beam pattern is nice, wide, and floody enough to be useful in general circumstances. Now, into the cons. I will say that the primary con for me, personally, is that this is a tactical light, first and foremost. This is not a light for EDC. In the general sense, you can definitely EDC it, and being able to go directly into moonlight mode is a big help here. But the fact that it favors the higher modes in the UI, the fact that it is so long and has this amount sticking out of the pocket, which is great for grabbing, for deploying it quickly, but is not so great for it, being super visible and knocking on stuff, means that this is definitely geared towards people that work, say, in a military, police, security environment, something, or if you were walking the dog in, or just out for a walk in an area you did not feel particularly safe. It's orientated more towards things like that and doesn't have the kind of balance some other lights tend to do. So my tactical frame of reference is not huge here. The most tactical orientated light I had before this was the TD07 from Workhorse, which had an actual switch between tactical and everyday light modes, which was a nice balance for that. And then, of course, the Olight series with the Warrior Nano, Warrior Mini, Warrior 3S, where you have your EDC functions up front, and then you have a tactical tail switch giving you a balance. This is very much all up front for that tactical purpose. And that's not a bad thing. It's okay to have a light specifically designed to do a certain thing. Fulfilling a niche is not a bad thing. But if you are looking to use this as an everyday carry light, you should be aware of how orientated towards tactical use the UI is, because it is inconvenient at times. Being able to just hit into that moonlight mode, which is bright enough to get you by sometimes, is nice, but having to double click to turn on and then going into brightness of 2000 lumens right off of the bat. Oh, that actually shows off the proximity sensor of when you get too close, you'll get a near sign that will dim, which is quite nice. That's just something you should be aware of, that if you're going to be going for this, you need to be going for it as a tactical light. Carries very well, but if you're just looking for a flat form factor light, there are a lot of other flat lights that do EDC specifically, and they do it quite well. That said, I do think that there's a lot to praise about the Klarus, especially since considering you get a lot of premium aspects, and it runs about £80, $80, which for a high quality tactical orientated light seems decently fair. It's not the cheapest of things, but I've definitely seen lights from other brands in the same vein that go quite a bit more. So just bear in mind that this light might not be for you, but if it is for you, if you are looking for a tactical light, I think that this could suit you very well. So just bear that in mind. If you would like to see more lights like this on the channel, let me know down in the comments down below. While you're down there, I would greatly appreciate your thoughts on the light itself, and if you'd like to like the video and subscribe, that greatly helps the channel, as does if you would like to put other lights more directly without having to rely on, corporate ties, then please consider supporting via YouTube memberships, coffee donations, Patreon, that kind of thing. That would all greatly help as well. But I've been Paul, this has been the Klarus Flat Tac X1e, and we will see you, well, I will, he won't, in the next one.